They're little baby ducks. We want to say hi. Aren't they so cute? Are they so cute, Lucy? Are those little baby ducks? You guys are adorable. You sweet little babies. Oh my gosh. You guys are so cute. Hi, I'm Tessa and welcome to Little Lady Homestead. So I have here a new exciting addition to our homestead. We got runner ducks and I am so excited. You wiggly little man. My kids have been asking for ducks. Every time we go to Rural King and they have ducks there, they always say, oh, can we get ducks, please, please, please? And I just couldn't do it until now. Oh, you are so wiggly. So these are Indian runner ducks. I have 8 fawn and white females and 2 chocolate males and 1 blue male. And this female here is a week and a half old, and this male here is about 3 days old. We just got the little boys yesterday. We did order 2 chocolate males with the original order, and unfortunately they both passed away. One was dead on arrival and the second one died overnight. And so they did send us 2 replacements, and then I got nervous with the prospect of not having any males, and I got 1 extra male. But so far they're all doing really, really well. It's just crazy the size difference between them at a week old or a week and a half old and then 3 days old. The girls are so big already. So the reason why we finally got ducks, we don't have a pond. I wish we did, but we live up on a hill. So having a pond would be pretty tough, at least up here. Maybe one day we will build a, or are you eating my microphone? Maybe one day we will excavate a pond down at the bottom of our property. There's a creek that runs through it. But for now, we have no pond in the future. But the reason why I wanted to get the ducks is actually to have them to live in my garden. So last year, you might have seen the video where I was talking about guineas, and Matt had heard from coworkers about how amazing guineas are about eating ticks and eating other pests. And I actually heard about people using them in their gardens because they don't scratch as much as chickens do, and they're just great for eating beetles and other pests. So I got 6 guineas and they just dropped like flies. The first 3 days, I could not keep that first batch alive. I had 6 and then 2 of them would die, and then I replaced those, and then the next day 2 more would die and I replaced those, and then the next day 2 more died. And so I ended up with 4 guineas, and I got them to be old enough where they were feathered out. And then I put them outside in a little chicken tractor, and I checked on them probably every hour, and then I let them out there, I think for about 3 more hours the rest of the afternoon. I came back and they were all gone. So they got out somehow, and I ended up getting 1 back, and it was all by itself. I didn't want to go through that again and buy more guineas. So I put it out with the bunnies actually, and pretty quick it became a bunny. It was so sweet. It snuggled with the bunnies. It tried to eat the bunnies' food. And it seemed like it was going really well until the guinea disappeared. Whether a predator got it or it flew off, I don't know how, but it was gone. And so I kind of took that as a sign that maybe guineas aren't right for our homestead. I'm going to put this little boy back because he is so wiggly. So I took that as a sign that I probably shouldn't have guineas. I was already concerned about their tendency to be quite loud, like car alarm loud anytime that they got scared. And since the purpose I wanted them for was to control pests in the garden, and our garden is right outside our living room, I don't want car alarms constantly going off right outside. So I was willing to take a chance, and then when it didn't work the first time, I decided against it. So because last year we just had tons of beetles in the garden, I didn't want to give up on the idea of having an animal control those pests. So I started looking into ducks, and then I found runner ducks. And runner ducks still need water, like most ducks, to clear their noses, and whenever they eat, they need to wash down water to help them eat. So they still do need to submerge their head into water, but they don't rely on a big pool or pond like most ducks do. They are more land-based ducks, which I thought would be interesting. And so I started looking into them more, and I found a few people who kept runner ducks in their gardens. And they don't scratch like chickens because they have those soft feet. And they will eat, or at least from what I've heard, they will eat beetles and different bugs. And they are great at controlling slugs. We don't have too many slugs here. It's mostly the beetles, but I figured I'd like to give them a chance, especially because they're so cute, and to have an excuse to have ducks. I just couldn't pass it up. And if for some reason they don't work out, then I'm sure that I could find them good homes. Yes, you're so sweet, but I hope that doesn't happen, even if we just keep them as pets. But I think that they'll be great, even if they don't control the pests like I hope they will. I know that they'll at least do something. And they do lay quite a few eggs. I think they lay about 200 eggs per year, which is pretty significant. And so we can use them for egg production as well. Since we have males and females, we can hatch babies and sell them. And so I think that they're a great addition to the homestead, and I'm excited to have them. They're so cute. I can't believe how big the girls are in just a week. So the runner ducks are super, super cute because they do stand more upright, like a penguin kind of. I really do like having them in this brooder here because I have their food on one end of the brooder and their water on the other end of the brooder. So they'll spend about 15 seconds and they all go together in a group. They all run to the feeder and eat for about 15 seconds. And then they all turn around and run as fast as they can to the water and stay there for about 15 seconds and then just repeat it until they're all tuckered out and they need a rest. So they do love to run. I am happy that I have this big long brooder for them so that they can get a lot of running in. They have no feathers right now, so they won't go outside probably for another month, I would say, because our last frost date is in about 3 weeks, I believe. And so I want to keep them inside here as long as they can stand it, the size. And then I'll put them outside. I do have a house for them that we need to modify a bit. It is a house that we used for the goats when we first got them. I think I just need to build a little ramp for it and also probably cut out some areas for ventilation because they do have quite wet manure, and so if you don't have ventilation in there, then it can get moldy with all of that moisture. And so I will make sure that that is well ventilated. They're so cute. I just love that when they go, "Hi, baby. Hi. Hi." I love them so much. You're so cute. Hi, duck, 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 duck. Hi, duck, 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 duck. Yes. I have heard that runner ducks can be quite shy, and so I do love having their brooder right outside our kitchen door because I come and check on them like 50 times a day and talk to them and try to hold them as much as I can because the more you handle them, the more they will be used to you and not just run away and be scared. They are pretty outgoing. When they see me, they run up to the front here and I talk to them. I've also started giving them greens from outside. I give them some grass and dandelion leaves and some clover leaves, and they just love that. The last thing that I wanted to show was their water, and I saw another person on YouTube with this idea where you have a little storage tote and you cut holes in the sides and fill that with water. That way they can stick their heads in there and submerge their heads, but they aren't going to splash at all in it, because if you have a normal chick water, they'll just splash in it because they love the water. And then another thing that I did is I had these little seed starting trays. I put one underneath the water, and then I also put a second one in front of it with some wood shavings. That way when they get their heads and splash the water, the extra water just goes into these trays and it keeps the rest of their brooder nice and dry, which I know is the hardest part of keeping ducklings, is just keeping everything dry. So you can see here that these shavings here are pretty wet, but everything that's right next to it is dry. So far this is working out really well. They're barely able to fit their heads in there, so I might get a second one with bigger holes in it for when they get bigger. 2 separate sizes depending on how big they are. But so far this is working out great. I am so excited to watch them as they grow. I'm excited to test them out in the garden. Again, I'm not completely sure. I have heard of other people doing it, but it remains to be seen. But I think it's worth a shot because they're just so sweet. They're so cute. All right, well, thank you so much for watching Little Lady Homestead, and I'll see you in my next video.